Hello and welcome to Football Tactics and Glory, episode 5 of my Weymouth career mode on season 2. Right, let's start the match. We are listening to Kevin Wilson, so enjoy the video and enjoy the music.
Today, there's only one Donald Trump, with Melania, his leading lady, and them pissing competitions with Kim Jong-un and Putin. Great for ratings. Donald wants to make America great again. Call him crazy, call him clever. But this daily reality dose of Don got us shitting our pants together. What's Donald gonna do today? Are we doomed or are we safe? First thing I read is Donald's tweet. What's Donald gonna do today? Then I turn the TV on, checking up on Donald. Is he pissed off or is he okay? What's Donald gonna do today? Oh, Donald, oh, Donald, oh, Donald. What's Donald gonna do today? What's Donald gonna do today? Are we doomed or are we safe? First thing I read is Donald's tweet today. Then I turn the TV on, checking. Is he pissed off or is he okay? What's Donald gonna do today? Is he pissed off or is he okay? What's Donald gonna do today? Well, there's not many Sheilas where I come from, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. And they reckon I got the ugliest one, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. And if you had a dog that looked like that, you'd shave its ass and teach it to walk backwards, but you couldn't teach an animal to fuck like that. So she's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's the sort of Sheila for me. She ain't no fucking oil painting, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. There's no politically correct word for fucking fat, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. The bloke wants to root, gotta follow a map, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. And providing I can get drunk enough, she's Ellie McPherson when I'm up her, and there's no way me mates are ever gonna wanna fuck her, so she's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's the sort of Sheila for me. She ain't no fucking oil painting, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's got BO and she's got bad breath, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. Looks like a buffalo wearing a dress, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. She picks her nose and she's always farting, got saggy tits and a saggy ass, but I tell you what, mate, I'm fucking laughing, 'cause she's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's the sort of Sheila for me. She ain't no fucking oil painting, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, she ain't too pretty and she ain't too bright, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. She chews tobacco and she smokes a pipe, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's got the uglies and she's got the stupids, make two short planks look like a computer, and I gotta get drunk to get the courage up to root her, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's the sort of Sheila for me. She ain't no fucking oil painting, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's the sort of Sheila for me. She ain't no fucking oil painting, but she's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, and the best of it is she's deaf and dumb, and her old man dropped dead and left her a pup, so I'm not as fucking stupid as you thought I was, and she's the sort of Sheila for me. She's the sort of Sheila for me. Yeah, she's the sort of Sheila for me. You could could see a blue was brewing as they eyed each other off, and the tension only mounted when Snakey won the toss.
You rake,
He said to Lofty as he chucked across the queue, and the tension in the pub just grew and grew.
I'll break all right.
Said Lofty as he snapped the queue in half and flung it back at Snake and said,
You shove this up your ass.
me nana give me that.
said Snakey,
Mate, you're fucking gone.
and the Feather Brain Championship was on. It was the front bar Feather Brain non-title fight. Two blokes the size of buffaloes, big but not too bright, and no one give two knocks a goat shit who was wrong or right. At the front bar Feather Brain non-title fight. No one seemed to know too much about their pedigrees. In that sort of place you didn't ask them sort of things. They said Lofty's from the top end, he was ugly, tough and mean. Used a welder's wire brush to scrub his teeth. And Snake was just plain ugly, where he come from no one knew. Reckon Rambo would have shit himself if Snakey told him to. And together they weighed half a ton in singlet shorts and but all the lights were on. The breeze near knocked me over when Snake threw the opening punch. It seemed to come from nowhere, I just heard this sickening crunch. I thought if any bastard lived through that, they're pretty fucking good. It was like a railway fiddler's hammer splitting wood. It slammed Lofty against the 8-ball table, flipped it on its edge, but he just casually got up, walked around, then ripped off all the legs. Then one by one he smashed the cunts across Snakey's ugly head. If his brain weren't so well padded, he'd be dead. But Snake just shook his skull, then blinked a bit and slowly looked around. Then chucked a right that would have knocked the war memorial down, and the force of it sent Lofty flying, crashing through the wall. Now there's a doorway where there weren't one there before. He landed arse up in the shithouse with his feet stuck in the air, with bricks and shit and broken glass and paper everywhere. And caked in that and crap, he ripped the dunny off the wall, and armed with that and fuck all brains went back for more. He slammed that dunny over Snakey's head, shattering it to bits, peppering him with porcelain and splattering him with shit. And there was teeth amongst the muck and shit. Whose they were you couldn't tell, but it looked like Lofty lost an ear as well. And Snake's right eye was swollen shut from where he'd copped one hard. Fair dinkum made it look as black as Ernie Dingo's ass, but with all the pieces missing and with all the blood and gore, they weren't as fucking ugly as before. There was flesh and hair and skin and bone and blood splashed on the wall, and them two bastards wallowing in it, rolling across the floor. And the publican just scratched his balls, wondering, looking round, should he clean the bastard up or burn it down? Most blues you see turn out to be a win or loss, but fucked if I've seen both opponents lose a fight before. And I heard Snakey say to Lofty as they crawled towards the bar,
Fuck the snooker, want a game of darts?
it was the front bar Feather Brain non-title fight. Two blokes the size of buffaloes, big but not bright, and no one give two knobs a goat shit who was wrong or right. At the front bar Feather Brain non-title fight. It was the front bar Feather Brain non-title fight. Two blokes the size of buffaloes, big but not too bright, and no one give two knobs a goat shit who was wrong or right. At the front bar Feather Brain non-title fight. It was the front bar Feather Brain non-title fight. Two blokes the size of buffaloes, big but not too bright, and no one give two knobs a goat shit who was wrong or right. At the blown too much of me time buying dinner and wine, and me money on flowers and lollies, only to find that what's on me mind isn't on hers and she's sorry. So I've made up some lines that save wasting time and keep me from blowing me brass. I'm ever so cool, I just prop on the stool right next to hers and I ask, do you fuck on first dates? Does your dad own a brewery? Could I feel your tits? Or would you show them to me? 'Cause you got a nice head and you look pretty honest. So me face will be leaving in quarter of an hour. I'd like you to be on it. You know how it feels when you first meet a Sheila and the bullshit you gotta go through. Like calling her up and telling her you love her when all that you'd love is just a screw. But she wants to hold hands and you to meet her old man and sit around for hours and talk. But me new method is you just cut through the shit and get down to the goodies straight off. Do you fuck on first dates? Does your dad own a brewery? Could I feel your tits? Or would you show them to me? Do you sleep in the nick? Do you give head very often? If we can decide your place or mine, we can fuck off then. So the next time you see a good-looking Sheila and you'd give a week's pay to hold her, don't sit acting dumb, just front her full on and drop a few lines that I told you. This new method of mine might not work every time, but then again no method will. I've been spat at and slapped and kneed in the knackers, but then I got a few fucks as well. Do you fuck on first dates? Does your dad own a brewery? Could I feel your tits? Or would you show them to me? If the answer is no to me questions above, then be a good sport and give me the name of a girlfriend who does.
I was 9 months old. I had lover's balls and you had no idea of the pitch of me passion and pain. Trying to stay cool with me knackers on fire, I come in me pants again. Oh, shit, and again. You wouldn't give and I wouldn't go and we couldn't seem to agree. You got the giggles and I got the shits, then you wouldn't talk to me. And when we made up and we dad banged on the roof and he yelled, "What are you two kids up to in there?" And I shit in me pants as well, and it was over. Shit. Before it began. You hear people say that they'd love to go back and do things that they did in the past. But if you reckon they were the real good old days, you can go stick 'em right up your ass. Because when I look back how I came and I went with a tear in me eye, I recall how I had a cut of a knife, but me undies had a ball and it was over. Before it began. Shit, I hope I never go through that again. Yuck.
Right, let's just fast forward time now until the next season starts. Let's pick a decent sponsor as well for the kit. When it wants to hurry itself up. Let's choose a sponsor. Let's have a look what we got. Let's have a look at this. Let's have that one. Right. Right, let's save it. Right, I'm going to save this video now. I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell for notifications, and yes, we will be back tomorrow with more football tactics and glory. And until then, I will see you again. Goodbye.